Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCA Extra. We're starting off, it's right now 9:17 now. We're talking all things rideshare issues.
Yep.
So now if you've been to the airport, especially the Burlington airport, a lot of times you're probably going to be relying on a rideshare, friends or family to pick you up. But they're having some problems now as far as maybe finding a ride. You know what I mean? Because I think the last time for me, it's been a year or so since I've had to. But I've always flown in at a relatively normal time. But you were there at the airport, around midnight a couple nights ago?
I was, even earlier than that. So I got to wait excitedly for all those flights to come in. I was tracking like the Newark flight.
Yeah.
And that's the time of day I'm hearing that people struggle the most to get a ride share, especially if your flight's delayed. We had a delayed flight from, I think it was Charlotte and LaGuardia, and those people are getting in at like 1:30 in the morning. And
there really is.
There's not much going on. As far as I've heard, the taxis are kind of few and far between, and if you are going to pay for that, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg, a lot more. And then the Ubers and Lyfts, if you have several planes landing at once that were delayed, there's just a mad rush. Everyone's on the phone.
Everyone's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you talked to a guy there, and then you also were on the Uber app this morning, right?
Sure was, yeah.
So that was
actually.
or Lyft, but you were at 5 and 6 this morning, and again, still like 10 minutes, 6 minutes?
Yeah, just about.
As far as who you spoke with a few days ago, was that any different?
So when I spoke with them,
time, obviously.
Because there were just a few flights getting in really late at night, that was one of the nights where it was okay. You might wait for 20 minutes. Not great after a really long flight.
But all things considered,
But compared to what I'm hearing, some people waiting over an hour.
Yeah. Or
they schedule it, the ride never shows up. So I caught them on a pretty good night, but it can be a lot worse.
Yeah. Now, I know sometimes too, because I've used the Uber app, and a lot of times it'll be like looking for a ride, and then it'll just the progress bar will go right back down and say we could not locate a driver.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing. So the airport is aware of this, and what are some of the things they're trying to do to remedy this? Maybe not just ride shares, but taxis too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the airport isn't in control of Ubers and Lyfts. They can encourage people, please take these jobs. We need more of you. We have more passengers.
Yeah, but it's not in there.
They can't hire people to, to give these rides. But taxis, what they do is they can boost the number of, queue spots outside of the airport. And they did. Last year, they upped it from 60 to 90.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, so far this year, they told me they've only issued 59 permits, and they don't have anyone on a wait list. So it's not, according to the airport,
they're not really lining up.
Yeah, there's not a mad influx of people wanting to drive these taxis necessarily. And I think that could, take a deeper look there. But that's sort of what they're seeing right now. So right now the airport's urging people, take on these jobs if you can.
Yeah. And
then if you are flying in, make sure
be
you
prepared,
have an alternative in mind if you can't get a quick ride share. If you're lucky enough to have, someone local who can pick you up, or maybe right after you landing you get service, try to book a ride first. But
and my last point too, you spoke with the airport communications director Jeff Bartley, and he was saying as far as the increase of Uber and Lyfts, or any kind of rideshare, I guess, from last year to this year, any changing numbers? I know we're kind of coming off of this is now 5 years ago from COVID, but
Totally.
As far as what that looks like.
Yeah, they're seeing so much more travel. He said that this year the number of passengers could surpass their 2019 levels. That was, before the pandemic.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
They are bringing on much larger planes with more passengers, and we know that's just going to keep growing. He said it in the story, we're going to keep expanding. We hope the rides keep up, but we have to keep expanding. There's more demand. So just from 2023 to 2024, they saw over a 21% increase in the number of passengers using Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
That's pretty major.
Yeah, and I think obviously, we've done so many stories in the morning as far as all of these, a lot of the budget airlines are coming in with, flights to Orlando and North Carolina and stuff like that. So I think it's only really trying to catch up to some of those destinations.
Exactly.
So, yeah, absolutely. But we'll show that story, Sophia, and I know that we got to show it because you had an early start a couple days ago. So it was funny. I came in and I was
still recovering.
What are these guys doing here?
Yeah.
It's not.
I'll say setting my alarm for 10:30 p.m. felt really unnatural, but sometimes you got to do it.
Hey.
For an airport story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I had the weekend to recover.
we'll show that right now. Whoops, wrong one. Hold on. I think I pulled up the wrong video. And hold on. Here we go. Sorry for the delay.
Jay Williams touches down on a delayed flight from LaGuardia. His first order of business, booking a ride to his Charlotte home. That is, if he can snag one.
I've been sitting here, 2 or 3 minutes, and nothing's happening. So it always says, well, now it says there's one 3 minutes away, but nobody's accepting the ride. And that's really normal.
Williams travels for work every week, often returning in the middle of the night. He says taxis are unavailable or expensive, and Lyft and Uber are unreliable. What's the longest you think you've had to wait before?
45 minutes? Well, yeah. It's been up to $100.
BTV data shows the number of travelers using Lyft and Uber is skyrocketing. Just last year, rides increased by over 21% compared to 2023.
We're busy. I mean, and it makes sense. We have the most routes we've ever had in direct destinations. As our flights continue to grow, our passengers and our planes are very full, you're going to see increased competition for these rides.
To meet the demand, last year, airport commissioners raised the number of taxis allowed to queue outside the airport from 60 to 90. Still, airport officials say they've only issued 59 permits this year, and no one is on a wait list. It presents an ongoing issue as the airport continues to grow.
We're going to keep pushing the limit. We need more destinations. We need more capacity.
Back at baggage claim, Williams' first Uber fell through. He switches to Uber XL and confirms a ride at double the price. He's willing to pay, though, relieved to finally have a ride home.
Usually at this time of night, there's like 3 or 4 planes all coming at the same time, and then it's not going to happen.
Taking a live look now at our Echo Cam. Of course, you want to see the rest of Sophia's story. You can see that on WCAX.com. It's good things to keep in mind as far as when people are, are getting off a plane and stuff like that. So let's loop in now meteorologist Allison Black. Allison, I think why is this so loud in my ear? Hold on. But as far as today goes, I don't think a lot of us are going to be getting on a flight, really weather-wise, because it's great couple days ahead of us. There is some rain later on in the week, so I guess when did things start to take a turn here?
Well, we're starting off really nice today. We got the warm temperatures, a good amount of sunshine, but once we get a little bit later in the week, probably Wednesday night, tomorrow evening, southern Vermont's going to start seeing a couple of the showers rolling in. But for us, we are staying nice and dry through today and tomorrow. It's not until overnight that we'll start to see those showers moving through the area. But for today, totally dry, nice, warm, a little bit of a breeze here in the Champlain Valley. The rest of Vermont, not really seeing all that breeze too much. That's why we're a little bit warmer. East of the Greens is a little bit cooler today. But if we take a look around the state, it is a really beautiful day today. Even if we do have some of those high, thin clouds, there's still some nice blue sky. And personally, I think it looks better with a couple of clouds just to kind of add some depth to the sky, make it look a little bit more picturesque, and it certainly does today. Those temperatures, again, getting nice and warm, upper 70s, possibly even hitting some low 80s across northern New York. But the nice warm summer-like temperatures are sticking around this week, at least until we get to Sunday. That's when we return back to more seasonable. So a couple of really nice days, especially while it stays dry today and tomorrow. Then overnight Wednesday into Thursday, our first round of showers comes in. And after that, it's looking pretty wet for the second half of Friday and through the weekend. Not a total washout, but definitely some showers rolling through. Today we are staying nice and dry with just those high, thin clouds, and the clouds are going to start filtering into southern Vermont early tomorrow morning, while the northern areas are staying nice and sunny through at least the beginning, the first half of the day. Then once we get to tomorrow evening, those showers moving into southern Vermont and slowly making their way north, and overnight we'll see a couple more of those scattered showers rolling through. Those are going to stick around to Thursday morning, but then for the rest of the day Thursday, really not looking too bad, seeing plenty of sunshine, just a couple of scattered showers, isolated showers even rolling through, especially southern Vermont and northern New York areas, seeing those the most. We stay dry and sunny into the beginning of Friday, but after that, Friday afternoon, those thunderstorms are going to start rolling into the area. We're going to be seeing wet weather through Saturday and Sunday as well. We finally dry out after a couple showers Monday morning, and we are back to seasonable and dry for next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping at the very least some of this rain clears out some of the pollen. I am suffering a little bit as far as my eyes have been super dry.
My nose is getting me. It's all itchy. And I guess waking up, my eyes, they're like all itchy every day.
I think I look like a different person when I woke up this morning. So it's completely, it's brutal the last couple of days for me.
It is, and the pollen levels are just going to stay high through this week. Even with the couple of showers coming through Thursday, not really doing much for us because we're so warm and dry. Yeah,
I was telling Sophia before we first hopped on, I was like, I really hope I don't sneeze. I'm trying my best to not sneeze during this. I feel like I've been just riddled with it. But yeah, anyway, take your allergy meds.
Yeah, definitely. All the allergy meds, and carry a box of tissues with you.
Absolutely. Allison, thank you. I think it does for us here on WCAX. Of course, you can see Allison and I in just a couple hours in the noon, and then all of our content
where we'll be trying not to sneeze.
Yeah, on WCAX.com. So until then, keep packed tissues on you. We'll see you.